Well, let me ask you this, because I saw you got a little bit flustered when 50 Cent surprised you. Does 50
I
Cent
can't
make
even
you
look
nervous?
at 50 Cent. I can't even.
You can't look at 50 Cent.
The word food is probably the first thing that comes to mind for anyone living in the United States when they hear the name Rachael Ray. This is due to the fact that the 56-year-old woman has established a distinguished reputation not only as a chef and a television personality, but also as a writer and a successful businesswoman. Over the course of many years, she has been entertaining audiences and whetting our appetites with meals that appear to be delectable. Because of this, the manner in which the truth about Rachael Ray's husband was finally revealed is particularly shocking. First, let's get right down to business and discuss who she is and why the news has everyone in a state of complete shock. The beginnings of the chef's career. Elsa Providenza Scuderi and James Claude Ray welcomed their young daughter, Rachael Domenica Ray, into the world on the 25th day of August, in the year 1968. To the extent that you are unable to tell already, she is as multi-ethnic as they come. When you consider that her father's ancestry is French, Scottish, and Welsh, and that her mother's ancestry is Sicilian, it is almost as if you are collecting the infinity stones for nationalities. When Rachael was 8 years old, her family relocated to Lake George, from Glens Falls, New York, where she was born. During that time, Rachael followed her family to Lake George. Restaurant management in New York's Capital District was the source of income for her mother, Elsa Scuderi, who served as her mother. Not too far away from what was formerly known as Gaslight Village Amusement Park was where you could find one of the restaurants, which was called the Lake George Howard Johnson. Rachael worked at Sutton's Marketplace in Queensbury for a short period of time when she was a teenager. Just like every other teen, she fantasized about appearing on television at some point in her life. When she volunteered to do commercials for the company while she was working there, it did not come as a surprise to anyone. She has continued to promote the establishment even after a number of years have passed, particularly the grilled raisin bread and cider donuts, which are her favorite baked goods from the particular establishment. Immediately following her graduation from Lake George High School, Rachael waited patiently and put money aside in order to be able to relocate to New York City. It was the year 1995, and she was employed at the candy counter located in the Macy's Marketplace. She had a satisfactory level of satisfaction with the job. However, when Macy's attempted to add additional responsibilities to her workload that were not initially included in the job description, she realized that it was time to make a speedy exit once more. Agata and Valentina is a specialty food store, and she ended up working there as a result of this circumstance. Rachael was looking for something that she couldn't quite put her finger on, but it appeared to be out of her reach. She was desperate for it. After spending a year in the city and not seeing even a glimmer of stardom, she quit her job and moved back to her hometown. Although she was unaware of it at the time, this was the action that would alter the course of her life irrevocably. A second attempt is being made. In 1996, she relocated back to Lake George, which meant that she was once again surrounded by people she knew. Therefore, it was not difficult for Rachael to embark on a career similar to that of her mother and begin managing Mr. Brown's Pub at the Sagamore, which is a hotel located on Lake George. She started working as a buyer at Cowan & Lobel not too much longer after that. Cowan & Lobel is a gourmet market located in Albany, Massachusetts, in case you have never heard of it before. Rachael began teaching a course that she later referred to as 30-minute meals, and it was her experience working at the store that laid the foundation for the concept of the course. It was called 30-minute meals. The job meant that she encountered a significant number of individuals who were hesitant to engage in the activity of cooking. This could be due to the fact that they had already formed the belief that they would be terrible at it, or because they had previously made mistakes in the kitchen and did not wish for them to occur again. Rachael was willing to roll up her sleeves and teach them how to prepare meals in a time frame of less than 30 minutes, regardless of the problem they were facing. That was the beginning of her meteoric rise to fame. Due to the fact that the 30-minute meals course was so successful, the local CBS TV affiliate, WRGB, took notice of her and asked her to participate in a weekly segment on their newscasts. After that, she had the opportunity to be featured on a public radio broadcast, and she also published her first book, which was also titled 30-Minute Meals and contained straightforward recipes. Considering everything that she had accomplished, it is not surprising that Food Network offered her a contract in the year 2001. The television show $40 a Day was hosted by Rachael Ray for a total of 3 seasons. Over the course of 77 episodes, which spanned the years 2002 to 2005, she went to a variety of locations and attempted to consume 3 square meals per day while adhering to a $20 budget. Rachael tied the knot with her attorney, John Cusimano, in the same year that the show came to an end. Now, before we get into that, let's take a look at the amount of criticism that she has received over the course of her career. Not a good reputation. Rachael Ray has, quite literally, experienced everything, from family feuds to experiences of being bullied because of her appearance. Not to mention that it all began with her class. Her approach to cooking is one that is speedy and uncomplicated. In addition, the fact that the recipes can be finished in less than half an hour is the primary selling point of her course. Dissidents, on the other hand, have pointed out that this idea does not take into account preparation time. There is no way that the components will magically come together on their own. Is that possible? On the other hand, that is merely the tip of the hill. Over the course of time, a significant number of famous chefs have experienced a decline in popularity among internet users. That being said, the reason is typically some kind of inappropriate behavior of some kind. In the case of Mario Batali, this was the situation. In 2017, he was at the pinnacle of his career when not just 1 or 2, but nearly a dozen women accused him of engaging in inappropriate behavior with them. At the end of the year 2022, he was successful in settling 2 of the cases and was found not guilty in one of them. However, his reputation never fully recovered. A documentary titled Batali, The Fall of a Superstar Chef, was released not too much longer after the event, which was even more unfortunate. When it came to that, there was no turning back. Rachael, on the other hand, did not care about that because she continued to advocate for her friend. And this is where the backlash started. Ray stated that she was still on speaking terms with her fellow Food Network star at the time of the controversy in an interview that was conducted in 2019 with National Public Radio, NPR. The interview acknowledged that Ray has remained loyal to Batali despite the controversy. Additionally, she stated that she has always been treated fairly in their industry, which was a statement that was particularly offensive to the internet community. The public criticism of her was not the first time that she had received it. Unbelievably, there is a website that goes by the name Rachael Ray Sucks. It was formerly known as I Despise Rachael Ray, and it was created by and dedicated to individuals who simply cannot stand her. It is also true that her own co-workers, including Martha Stewart, have made public statements that are critical of her. Martha insulted Ray's inability to bake in an interview that she gave to ABC in 2009. She then went on to voice her disapproval of the woman's most recent cookbook, which was published at the time. It appears that the majority of the criticism stems from the fact that she cooks in a straightforward and uncomplicated manner, which is ironic given that this is precisely what brought her fame in the first place. Rachael has been the subject of complaints from a number of other industry professionals, including Anthony Bourdain, Giada De Laurentiis, and Emeril Lagasse, although some of the controversy surrounding her has ultimately been resolved. Lagasse, at the very least, appears to have developed a close friendship with Rachael Ray, as evidenced by the fact that she frequently appears on her show, Rachael Ray. The allegations made by Ray. You are already aware that Rachael has been accused of not writing her own cookbooks, which is one of the few sins in the culinary industry that causes people to clutch their pearls as tightly as not writing your own cookbooks. There are more than 20 cookbooks that she has written and published, and she has published hundreds of recipes. In point of fact, the number escalates to thousands when we take into account the recipes that have been published on her personal website, the website of the Food Network, and the ones that have been published in her magazines. That she would choose to contract out some of the work is completely understandable. One can only imagine the level of surprise that her followers felt when they learnt that she was not outsourcing some of the recipe writing. She was contracting out all of the works. In 2012, the New York Times published an article titled, "I Was a Cookbook Ghostwriter," which revealed everything that had been concealed so far. According to the shocking article, a number of celebrity chefs were not writing their own recipes or cookbooks, and Rachel's name was included on the list of those who were accused of doing so. In an episode of her show, Rachael Ray, she discussed the matter, stating that she manages to find time to write her cookbooks when she is at home with her family. This was done in an effort to repair her reputation. However, she did admit that she had received assistance from the individuals who were responsible for organizing the book and putting the finishing touches on it, such as the glossary. Bobby Flay came to her aid and stated in an interview with Today that he is convinced that Rachael writes her own cookbooks. He stated that he has witnessed her doing so in the time that she is filming her shows. It is amusing that he would bring up her shows because, in addition to that, another problem is that Rachael is a terrible host for television shows. There are not many shows that are centered around food that are filmed in front of a live audience today. Rachael Ray, on the other hand, began her career as a daytime television host. The presence of a live audience is also an essential element for the shows that fall into this category. In light of the fact that she is not particularly upbeat and cheery when the cameras are turned off, this is an inconvenient situation. The reviews that TripAdvisor has received regarding the experience of taping the show have a variety of responses. While there were individuals who had a positive experience during their time spent filming, there were also individuals who cautioned others not to get their hopes up, stating that they found the experience to be extremely disheartening. The cook acts like someone who doesn't really want to be there and is perpetually in a bad mood, according to the words of a particularly dissatisfied audience member who was on the show in 2019. She expressed her sympathy for Rachel's co-workers, stating that she felt sorry for them. It was a mystery to her why Rachael continued to work on the show if she detested the process of filming it so much. The vast majority of individuals who have been informed about Rachel's husband are curious about the same thing. Why have they been together for 20 years if they have such a strong dislike for one another that they constantly yell at each other? "I'll sleep when I'm dead" is the name of Rachel's new podcast, which she launched in September 2024. Since then, she has been putting nearly everything down on the table, including the happy couple. In addition to sharing stories about her health problems, she has also shared stories about her Sicilian grandfather, who was the source of inspiration for her love of food. Most importantly, she has shared details about her husband, John Cusimano, that have raised eyebrows. She disclosed something that was quite unsettling in the very first episode, which was the fact that she does not trust people who are quiet, particularly when they are in disagreement with her thoughts. After that, she proceeded to explain to Jenny Mullen, who was her guest for the episode, that she and her husband have never been able to find a single moment of peace in their entire lives. The fact of the matter is that they engage in massive screaming matches almost all the time, and she is convinced that this is completely healthy. It is a little strange for two people to have met at a birthday party rather than, for example, at a heavy metal concert. But to be honest, what do we know? A birthday party hosted by a mutual friend brought Rachael and John together for the first time in the year 2001. It is important to take note of the fact that she stands at a height of 5 feet 3 inches, while her husband is only 1 inch taller, standing at 5 feet 4 inches. He likes to add that the party they met at was full of tall people, and the two of them saw each other among a sea of knees. This is something that he likes to include in his recountings of how they ended up meeting. 2 years later at Castello di Vallona in Tuscany, they tied the knot and became husband and wife. In the years that have passed since then, the couple has divided their time between the Adirondacks in New York and Italy because of their affection for the Western European nation. Despite the fact that some individuals have questioned the degree to which their relationship appears to make sense or not, it is abundantly clear that Rachael is having the time of her life. In addition to that, they have a peculiar mode of communication. As an illustration, Ray explained that after their screaming matches, neither party apologizes verbally to the other. After some time has passed, she will either kiss her head or pat his butt, and that will be the end of the apology. Simply put, it appears that they comprehend themselves. Despite the fact that there was a rumor in the tabloids that Cusimano had cheated on Rachael with 2 different women while they were married, Rachael found it amusing to address the issue. Another rumor states that Cusimano met a woman from Florida in New York in the year 2000. The woman had been having an affair with Cusimano for a number of years, during which time Cusimano had been paying her for her services and engaging in substance use interactions with her. According to the blogs, Rachael stated in an interview with People in 2007 that the actual number of fictional women in her husband's life would be 6 individuals. Then, after a lengthy chuckle, she continued by saying that ever since they got married, she has been the one who knows exactly where he is every single night. Rachael Ray is the type of person who prefers to keep her private life out of the public eye. So many people have the suspicion that it was an attempt to cover up something while they were trying to figure things out in private. When you consider that they have been together for 20 years, you might think that there is at least one mini Rachael or mini John running around. It was decided by the couple that they would not have any children. Rachael is under the impression that she is unable to be a good parent because she works too much. She even imagines that she is a poor parent to her dog, Isabu, on certain days because she is so absent. In her opinion, if she attempted to give birth to a child at this time and juggle motherhood with everything else that she was doing, she would not be able to complete the task successfully. It would appear that John is completely content with that as well. Although the majority of his time is spent performing as the frontman for his band, Cringe, he is also exceptionally skilled in a few other areas. Rachael is always quick to add that his knowledge really came in handy as her career expanded. And since he used to be a practicing entertainment lawyer in New York, she believes that his expertise was extremely helpful. Her statement was that marrying an entertainment lawyer was the most astute decision she had ever made. Without a doubt, it was a saving grace for me. Rachael's inconsistency with measurements is yet another thing that people dislike about her. This also brings about additional controversies. The fact that she essentially eyeballs her cooking style is not explained by the fact that she has mentioned that her Sicilian grandfather and her Cajun ancestry have both had a significant impact on her cooking. The creative and hands-on process that is involved in cooking is something that Rachael appears to believe is diminished by the use of measuring. Rather than using exact measurements, she prefers to make approximations such as a half-palm full or a 2-pan swirl. When she is confronted with criticism regarding her shortcut techniques, her default response is that she has never received formal training and is not qualified for any job that she has ever held. In addition, she is quick to point out to others that although she is talented in the kitchen, she is not a chef. The catchphrases that she uses while she cooks are one of the reasons why people like her. For example, extra virgin olive oil, Wariavo, is a type of olive oil that is extra virgin. Garbage bowl entree tizer, GB, is a type of appetizer that is the size of an entree. A stoop is a combination of a soup and a stew, and a soup is a type of soup that is thinner than a chowder, but thicker than a soup. Rachael is credited with being the person who first came up with the phrase extra virgin olive oil, which was included in the Oxford American College Dictionary in the year 2007. The feud that exists between her family is an example of a controversy that is somewhat more upsetting. If you spend even a little bit of time watching Rachael or reading about her, you will come to understand how important family is to her, particularly her mother, whom she has described as her favorite person and cook. Rachael's mother was present during her very first appearance on Today, which is what ultimately led to Food Network taking notice of her for the first time. That would imply that her family is flawless, right? Certainly not at all. The death of Rachael's aunt in 2013, which occurred right outside of Rachael's house, was a significant tragedy for the entire family, and it also sparked a feud within the family. At the end of November, Geraldine Dominica Scuderi was 77 years old when she sat at Rachael's house for a period of time. When she went outside to feed the birds one day, she ended up locking herself outside instead of going inside. She attempted absolutely everything to get back inside, including breaking a window, but none of her efforts were successful. Unfortunately, she experienced a collapse in the icy cold weather, and she was discovered the following day. Rachael was held responsible for the death and acts of negligence by certain members of the family. One cousin claims that the aunt was not even provided with her own personal key for the house-sitting service, and that she may have passed out due to the difficulties she was experiencing with her lungs. Rachel's absence from the funeral, which occurred because she was working on one of her shows at the time, caused the tension to skyrocket to an all-time high. On the other hand, her brother defended her by stating that the only person who was upset about Rachel's absence was that one cousin. Rachael has accomplished a great deal in her professional life, despite the fact that she has been subjected to hostility from both anonymous individuals on the internet and members of her own family. The accomplishments. She also made a comeback in 2019 after having the opportunity to host 30-minute meals on Food Network for a total of 11 seasons, beginning in 2001 and ending in 2012. Rachael Ray, her personal show, began filming in New York on September 18, 2006, and it continued to air until May 24, 2023. Both dates are in the year 2023. The launch of her own show was fueled by her appearances on The Oprah Winfrey Show, which is similar to how Dr. Phil's show became popular after he was featured on Oprah. She has also made appearances on other shows. After the conclusion of Rachael Ray, the celebrity chef made an announcement in which she stated that although people are primarily familiar with her for her passion for food, she has a great deal more that she wishes to share with them. Not much longer after that, on January 12, 2008, the Food Network debuted her television series, which was titled Rachel's Vacation. The show was the culmination of a 5-part culinary travelogue that was shot in various countries across Europe. She hosted Rachael Ray's Week in a Day, a reality television culinary show that aired in 2010, and she was an executive producer for Viva Daisy, a Latin culinary show that aired on the Food Network in 2008 and featured Daisy Martinez. Viva Daisy was criticized for its lackluster run. In January of 2012, Rachael had the opportunity to compete alongside Guy Fieri on the Food Network reality show known as Rachael vs. Guy Celebrity Cook-Off. She served as the team captain. In the second episode of Gilmore Girls: A Year in Life, which was a mini-series revival of the show, she made an appearance in the year 2016, playing a fictionalized version of herself within the show. It has been her lifelong dream to provide the voice of a cartoon character, and in 2019, she was able to make that dream come true by appearing on the show Butterbean's Cafe, which is broadcast on Nick Jr. Rachael made the announcement in 2023 that she would be leaving her chat show after the 17th season and establishing her own production company, which she called Free Food Studios. Rachael made a cameo appearance as herself in the season finale of The Curse in 2024. Other guests, such as Emma Stone and Nathan Fielder, played their fictional characters, Whitney and Asher Siegel, respectively. It is quite amusing to note that Rachael was photographed for the men's magazine FHM in the year 2003. Despite the fact that she was not naked in any of the photographs, she was subjected to such a large amount of criticism, including from her own mother, that she was required to defend her decision to appear for the magazine in an interview with ABC News Nightline. As she was having a conversation with Cynthia McFadden, a correspondent for ABC News, she stated, "I would do it again tomorrow." The first issue of Rachael Ray's magazine, titled Every Day with Rachael Ray, was published by the Reader's Digest Association on October 25, 2005. Following a brief hiatus that lasted until the Meredith Corporation, which acquired the magazine in October of 2011, published 7 issues of the magazine in 2006. In 2007, the number of issues published increased to 10. As far as endorsements are concerned, Ray began his career in November of 2006 by becoming a spokesperson for Nabisco crackers. In addition to appearing in advertisements and on the packaging of a variety of Nabisco products, her picture has also been printed on a number of the boxes. It is common for her recipes to be included in the ones that feature her picture. During the month of February in 2007, West Point Home introduced bed sheets, blankets, and coverlets that were designed by Ray. When West Point noticed that Ray frequently wore a kitchen towel that doubled as an oven mitt over her shoulder, they decided to expand Ray's bed and bath line to include the Maupin, which is a 2-in-1 kitchen towel oven mitt. This expansion took place within a period of 6 months. Ray was revealed to be a celebrity ambassador for Dunkin' Donuts in March of 2007, primarily for the company's coffee. despite the fact that she had previously denied having the ability to make coffee. Previously, she has stated that she is unable to bake or cook due to the fact that she essentially estimates measurements. During the course of a marketing campaign, Ray describes the coffee produced by the company as fantastic. In May of 2007, the Rachael Ray Recipes on the Run feature was implemented on Tant mobile phones, making it possible for customers to access Ray's recipes on the go. During the month of July in 2008, Rachael introduced her Nutrish pet food, which was not a particularly positive event. Rachael Ray's love for dogs led her to develop Nutrish, a pet food line inspired by her pit bull Isabu. Nutrish supports the Rachael Ray Foundation, which aids animals in need. However, the brand has faced multiple lawsuits, including claims of containing weed killer and dog DNA. These allegations were dismissed, yet they drew public attention. Rachael's distinctive voice, influenced by childhood throat issues, became a topic of speculation. In 2008, rumors of throat cancer surfaced after surgery to remove a benign cyst, but her representatives clarified her health was not at risk. Rachael has also endured personal setbacks, including being mugged twice in 1 week in New York City during the 1990s. In 2020, a fire destroyed her Adirondack home, which she later rebuilt. And in 2021, Hurricane Ida heavily damaged her newly remodeled residence. Despite these challenges, she continued her work, filming shows like Rachael Ray's Italian Dream Home and providing support to others who faced similar tragedies. Her resilience remains evident as she forges ahead in her career and life, overcoming obstacles with determination. Despite the fact that people have questioned her decisions and her marriage, she has maintained her self-assurance and kept her head held high. Being in a relationship with someone who is on the same wavelength as you is unquestionably beneficial. Following the disclosure of the truth about Rachael Ray's husband, what are your thoughts on the allegations of infidelity that have been circulating? Post your thoughts in the comments section below. In order to receive additional juicy stories about your favorite celebrities, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel. If you found this video to be enjoyable, proceed to the next video that appears on your screen.